Ghost Cult Magazine is honored to be joined by Brad Gillis of Night Ranger. How are you doing, Brad?
I'm doing fine. I got to tell you, Keith, it's exciting to have a new record coming out. We always get excited about it. The only bummer is you finish your record and you got to wait 3 months for it to come out. So it'll be out August 6th, and excited about that. And we're actually playing some of the new music live, and we got a bunch of shows coming up, and it's very exciting to be back in the running after 16 months of being down and out.
I hear you, and what a pleasure it is to have great new music to listen to. We need it so badly right now. And you just have been playing festivals like the last few weeks and shows. So how's that been for you? How's been your comfort level?
It's been great. I mean, as far as comfort level, we've been doing this, it's our 40-year anniversary next year. So it was just this downtime that was tough for everybody involved, musicians playing out live. You feel bad for the crews that rely on working and stuff and playing live, but now everybody's back to work and no one's complaining. But we were trying to figure out how to keep ourselves busy in this downtime, so we had another record to do with Frontiers out of Italy. That's our label we've been through with over a decade, and we thought, well, why don't we try to do this record while we're down? So had a Zoom call with Jack, Kelli, and me. And with that, we came down with some basic ideas and stuff, and recorded on our phones or whatever, doing a Zoom call just to have it. Then we'd work off that and send it around to Keri, the guitar player, and Levy, our keyboard player, and we were able to come out with a nucleus of 15, 16 songs for this new record. And then once we figure out the 11 or 12 that we were going to do, we had Kelli going into a big studio. Keagy, our drummer, going to a big studio in Arizona by Phoenix, where he lives, and cut the drums. It got a great, huge drum sound. And of course, that's always the foundation of any song. Big drums. You got big drums, you're happening. So we got that done. Then we passed those around with the rough guitars on it. Then to put our finals on, and I get together with Kelli. And we work on guitar parts and harmonies, and go over to Eric. He put some keyboards on, and go to Jack, and he put a rough vocal on. Go to Kelli, and then once we started getting it, it took about 5 or 6 months because we had the luxury of time. And then we'd start finalizing everything, and that's when when you really got a great product, when it starts coming towards the end of everybody putting their parts on, and you're able to go, yeah, this is happening. So we finished it up about 3 months ago and getting ready for the August 6th release.
Right on. And the album is And the Band Played On, which is very fitting, especially for the three core guys who've been there, like you said, 40 years. It's pretty incredible. I know Jack has been in and back, out and back in, but it really does come down to the three of you guys. And we love the other guys, of course. Their contributions can be heard right on the record. But yeah, it is a very, I think, perhaps a meaningful title, not just clever, especially in these times. There's a lot of legacy bands just rely on their hits and they don't make new music, and you guys put a premium on continuing to just churn out great rock songs.
Yeah, we enjoy that. I mean, it's kind of in our blood too. I mean, we don't want to be stale. We don't want to just rely on playing the same show every night and maybe changing a song up or changing the set around. We thought, let's do new music every couple of years. So I think it's been almost 4 years since the last record, and now that this one's coming out, we're excited about it. And also the first single that's on YouTube that was released a month ago or a month and a half it's called Breakout. It's that Night Ranger sound that everybody kind of grew up with, which is twin guitars and harmonies, and Jack singing his butt off on this record, and then usually we have big 3-part chorus harmonies, but this song Breakout being more of a hard rock tune, it was big like break out, big gang chant on that with a big monster guitar lick behind it. So we're playing that live. It's coming off to the audience well, and we'll probably add another song or two in once the record gets released, and to figure out the best ones to play live. So we're changing it up a little, and we're in a new era of new record and COVID possibly, hopefully it'll go away and we can get back to normal. But I tell you, the shows are coming in huge right now. We just played with Styx the other night and had Tommy Shaw come up and do High Enough with Night Ranger, and that was fun. We played with Hailstorm, a couple that last week, 20,000 people, killer. And then we did Rockfest in Cadott, Wisconsin, where it was huge, 4-day festival. I think it's the biggest rock and roll festival in the country. And that was huge. We played kind of on a heavy metal bill with Corey Taylor from Slipknot, and Phil from a singer from Pantera. But so we did more of a hard rock set. But we just do what we do, and it turned out well. So got a bunch of great shows coming up. Got the Kiss Cruise coming up. Another bunch of big festivals coming up. We just booked Japan for 2022. We got 4 shows in Tokyo being booked now. So it's killer. No problem with that. And then in 2022, I think we booked the Sweden Rock Festival, opening up for Guns N' Roses summer of 2022. So it's looking pretty good.
Awesome. Every time somebody says rock is dead and it's over, I hear all this work you have coming up, and it doesn't sound dead to me.
No, all of our shows have been sold out. Especially in the Midwest. It's just that's where we've always been big. Just people in the Midwest, they just love straight ahead rock and roll. You get to the different East and West Coasts, and everybody's into something new and the latest greatest, which is fine. But we're a rock band, man, and the Midwest loves straight ahead rock and roll. So we're happy just to be out there working again and things opening up.
Right on. I love it. And like I said, this record's terrific. I would love to hear, obviously, until you get to do a headline tour, you can only fit in a few brand new songs, so people also not have to get familiar with them. Obviously, Coming For You is awesome. You mentioned Breakout, Hard to Make It Easy. These are great songs. I'd love to hear these live. And, after all these years, it's got to be difficult when you're planning and plotting a headline tour, it's got to be, you want to incorporate the new music also. You want to not just play all the hits and the deep cuts. You want to play new jams too.
Yeah. We've, you always got to play the hits. That's basically what everybody wants to hear. And you got to really realize when you do a show, especially a bill with many other acts, a lot of the audience, depending on where you're at the bill and what part of the country you're in, maybe don't know a lot of our B cuts. And the last thing you want to see is deer in the headlights. You want people to be familiar with what you're doing. So, we throw a couple damn Yankees tunes in there because they were great songs, and people love them. And then sometimes we'll throw an Ozzy, we'll throw Crazy Train in there with my stint with Ozzy, and Keri, Kelli, the guitar player. It's been about 7-8 years, whatever it was, with Alice Cooper. So we'll play throwing Schools Out, just to familiarize the audience with songs that they would know. But then we throw in B cuts. We change around B cuts, and now with the new record, we already have Breakout in the set, and we're trying to figure out once this record comes out what other new songs to add that would translate to the audience the best. That kind of deal.
Nice. And not only can you guys play anything, of course, Jack is ageless. His voice continues to mystify me. This record is proof. I don't understand how he's able to still sound so good live. A lot of people fall off. I don't know if it's how he takes care of himself, but he is fantastic.
Yeah. And one example of that would be Breakout. Go to YouTube, check out Breakout. I think it's up to about 400,000 hits on it. The comments have been great, but listen to his voice on it, and you'll see where he's peaking out. And when a singer peaks out to the top of the range of their vocals, that's when that natural distortion comes out and the angst from the lyrics, and singers are able to really get the message across. And he really shined on Breakout. And that's why the record company, after the record company heard all the cuts for the new record, we asked them, we said, what do you think is the best first release? What most defines Night Ranger? And they said Breakout. They said the twin guitars, the harmonies, Jack's voice, very aggressive rock song. And so we went with what they said and released Breakout first.
Right on. And then in deference to your, again, your legendary career as an axeman, not just in this band, but all your stuff, and Kelli as well, who's, Keri is terrific. Do you ever, when you're making a record or you're approaching a new record and you have these songs you worked on, do you tinker with your tone, or is there just the Brad tone, you dial it in and that's it? That's where you stay?
Well, in the studio and live, I mean, you stick the mic to, I play my red Strat, my 62 red Strat to get that sound, and which I've always had, which I played on basically all the iconic Night Ranger hits, Sister Christians, the Don't Tell Me Levies, and Rockin' Americas. But I use that a lot. But, I dug a little deeper on this record, being a vintage guitar collector. I got close to about 100 guitars. I used a 62 Strat on one song. Oh, and I Can't Afford a Hero, the ballad on there. I used a 57 Stratocaster. It's got that tone through a 65 Blackface Fender Deluxe Reverb amp, which you put those two together and you get the iconic sound. You know what I mean? So I used that on Hero off the new record, and I used this gold SG 3 pickup SG gold sparkle on a couple of rhythm tracks to get a crunchier, deeper tone. But I kind of mixed up amps. Everybody has the luxury recording from their home studios to use what they have at hand. So I went in and used some different amplifiers. Of course, you go in the computer box and there's, Guitar Rig and these different plugins you could use for guitar that sound awesome too. And, so we kind of mixed things up. But the nucleus and basic sound of the band, which would be Kelli, Keagy, our drummer, going in and getting the killer drum sound at this big studio in Phoenix. And once you got a great drum sound, I mean, you're halfway home, because that big drums make any rock song. So got together with Keri, Kelli, came up with these great harmonies and stuff for the record, and just excited to have other people hear the rest of the record.
Right on. Yeah, that's always the frustration, right? They don't, it, and they don't yet. I'm glad you mentioned Can't Afford a Hero. It's got a very, it's very unique, and I think that's your sort of ballady, mid-tempo, twangy, little country in there, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It's got some soul to it, man. It was a surpriser for me.
Yeah, well, we with any record we do, we try to change up tempos and feels, and we look at it as, you got your fiery up tempo songs, you got your mid tempo tunes like your Sing Me Aways and When You Close Your Eyes, mid tempo tunes, and then you got a couple ballads. So we try to integrate and incorporate those different styles in every record we do, Keith.
Right on. In terms of production at this point, you could almost produce yourselves, but when you work with an outside person, what are you looking for? As you better than anyone, you know what the band is supposed to sound like, right? But
yeah, well, we've been working with Anthony Fox. He does a lot of records, but basically, we're his sounding board. We tell him what we want to hear, and he makes it happen. There's just too much involved with once you finish a record to clean up the tracks and do all this, what it takes to make a record sound big, and we rely on him. He's done last couple of records with Night Ranger, does a great job, but basically it's us coming in and letting Anthony know what our vision for the record.
Right on. You need somebody who can help capture it, and it's good to have that rapport also, because that you work multiple records with Anthony, because it's hard. You have to learn. Sometimes you have to meet a new person, not your first rodeo, Night Ranger. So, of course you want that comfort level. So that's great. And I think Frontiers is a great label. We actually cover a lot of their stuff here at our site. And I think they're doing a fantastic job with you guys.
Yeah, we're doing real well with them. We're just waiting for the release. The 3-month downtime to wait when you finish a record to when they release it is like, you want the world or your biggest fans or whatever, to hear it. But you want your family and friends to hear it. But you can play it for your family, you can play it for your friends, but you don't want to send out the link of all the songs on it just in case it gets somewhere where you don't want it to go. Everybody has the link, and the surprise is gone, and people don't buy your record because they got the link.
It's true. Well, we're music industry folks. We have protections against that, and obviously there's a lot of liability. So hopefully nobody is stupid and leaks the record. But it is a great record, and you can wait till August 6th and get it and hear the whole thing everywhere. But I wonder if, since you mentioned it, what's your, obviously, I think the illegal thing is kind of dying down a bit, not totally, but it's diminished greatly because of streaming. But then the downside of streaming is it's not a true revenue builder. It's an awareness grower, but you guys don't need help with that department, I think. So
Yeah.
I was wondering your feelings on that, because you are still on, you're going to be on tour. You can hand your record to fans, sell it at the shows. That's huge. But streaming is
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't
well,
know.
I got Apple Music. I download and stream all this great music for $12.95 a month or whatever it is, and I'm getting all these records from the past I grew up with. You got to remember, Keith, like just a couple of years ago, if you wanted to download a record to your phone or to your computer, it was $10, $9.99. Now you pay a couple bucks more, and you can get whatever you want. So I think streaming is great, and you do get paid on streaming, but you get a lot more downloads than sales per se. And so it just get your record out there to a bigger audience. But we still sell a lot of vinyl. I mean, we got this record coming out on vinyl, different colored vinyls, and for people with record players and such. And then of course there's still the big market. People are still buying CDs in the Midwest and wherever they have CDs players in their car and stuff. So we'll be fine. We'll be just fine.
Right on. I'm one of those vinyl people, so give me all the swirly patterns and things, please. Please and thank you. I want to be cognizant of your day. You're busy, and I'm going to give you back your day in a few minutes. I just have another couple for you. Obviously, obviously got this new record to celebrate on tour, and a lot of touring planned for the next few years. Next year is incredibly the 40th anniversary of Dawn Patrol. Hell, I feel old. Because I remember when it came out on vinyl, and I think cassette maybe was the only thing you could get back then. Any thoughts of maybe celebrating a whole album live or with some kind of special event?
Well, we're definitely going to celebrate it. Next year is the 40-year anniversary. Of course, we're not going to do another record because we're just doing one. We put one out every 3 or 4 years, So basically, I think we'll just tout it with this cool special T-shirts for you, 40-year anniversary. Maybe change some music around. We're figuring that out. But we did a 35-year thing just 4 years ago, and it worked out real well. We went in Chicago and did 35 years in Chicago and recorded a bunch of stuff live there. So it's just another pinnacle in our career, 40 years. So just go out and play our shows. Looking forward to going to Japan next year and opening for Guns N' Roses at the Sweden Rock Festival in the summer of next year, and whatever else comes in. So I think we're looking good. Hopefully this, the whole COVID and Delta variant and everything will shut down. People get vaccinated, things will open up. And, it's one thing for us to be out there working. I mean, we all, suffice well on doing what we've done for so many years, but you feel bad for the crew and everybody involved in shows and stuff that had to pretty much give it up for the last 16 months. That's what's it's tough on those kind of the workers that make concerts happen. So we're glad the machine's rolling, and all the shows you've been doing have been great. Sold out and kicking butt. Heading out again this weekend. We call it being weekend warriors. No, nobody in this band likes to get on a bus for 2 or 3 months with a bunch of dudes. It's just too much for you. It's a burnout. So we do what we call weekend warriors. We play on the weekends. We're home during the week. And, I do TV music, ESPN stuff, and I've been doing this for 20 years and placements here and there. And I'm trying to finish the solo record up with a bunch of special guests, and trying to get that out there. Of course, it's going to come a little ways after the Night Ranger record, but anything and everything to keep busy in the music world, Keith. So it's all good.
So exciting. So great to hear about all these things. Just for a last thing, if you could go back even before the Night Ranger days, because Jack and Keagy from even before then, if you could go back to young you and give you one piece of advice, what would you say to your younger self?
Oh, just just man, let's forge ahead and stay true to what you're doing, and don't never be stymied, man. Just you're gonna run into a bunch of pitfalls, and you're gonna get bummed out, and you're gonna want to change careers, but you just got to keep moving at it and try to come up with something that's bigger and better or different than anybody else, man. The whole thing about music these days, or has always been, is to be original, or to come up with something that nobody's heard. You don't want to be a rehash. That's why, Keith, that's why I got a whammy bar. I mean, Eddie came out doing the dive bombs and harmonics with the whammy bar, and I wanted to be different. So I started hitting the harmonics and pulling up on the bar, Then I was banging on my guitar one day, and the tremolo was playing. Like, what is that? And it was this cricket sound, and I incorporated the pull up harmonic and the cricket sound on my solo on Don't Tell Me You Love Me to be different. And at one point, 84, Ronnie James Dio was doing the Stars video, and where all these, the greatest musicians at the time, guitar players and singers, all came in and did this big benefit concert song. And everybody was there. All the big boy, everybody from Yngwie to Neil Schon to George Lynch to, everybody was there. And the guitar solo is probably 7 minutes long, everybody doing like 16 bars. And I'm listening, how am I going to be different? So what did I do? I ended up, doing a whammy bar solo with harmonics. And people go, "Oh, Brad, I know it's you." So I had to be different. So I incorporated a bunch of, subtle kind of whammy bar stuff in the new Nine Ranger record, because that's my style, and I want people to hear something and know it's me. So to tell anybody, that's growing up or wants to play music, try to get it something original. Play with melody. Melody is king. You play a guitar solo, the song's over, you hum that melody in your head. I mean, that's awesome, so, play with melody, try to be original, and stick to your guns.
I like it. I like the summary too. Brad Gillis, the legend and icon of rock and heavy metal even. Thank you so much for spending some time with Ghost Cult. Congrats on And the Band Played On, coming out August 6th from Frontiers SRL. Thank you so much for spending some time with me.
Thank you,
out there. Take care.
My pleasure, man. And hopefully see you soon. And August 6th, new Nine Ranger record, and check out Breakout on YouTube. And it's a barn burner.